Hi, welcome to Expat Insights. I'm your host Raju Mandhian. Expat Insights takes external views of the internal successes of foreigners, immigrants and expats living in the Philippines. We look at their life, we look at the work they do, and we look at the value they add to this wonderful country. We also benchmark their business successes, we look for synergies, and we also celebrate differences. Today, at Expat Insights, we have a very special guest from a very powerful country. We have today the President of the Indian Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines. He is a businessman, born and raised in the Philippines, lives and works here and loves this country and represents India. Let's find out why India rocks with our guest today, Mr. Ramesh Dargani, the President of the Indian Chamber of Commerce. Yeah. So tell me about the Indians in the Philippines. What brings them here? What keeps them here? What keeps them going in the Philippines?
Well, I'd say that I'd speak first for myself. I'm born and raised here. I love the Philippines. This is home. I'm educated here. Many of my friends are Filipinos, like me. And well, there's another group that's not born here. The people who are not born here, where they like to live here because the Filipinos are great to live with. They have assimilated. And Filipinos are generally very friendly, and also because it's an English-speaking country.
How many of you are here? How many Indians live in this country? What are the numbers?
Well, there's no specific number that we can officially say, but I would say it would be in the vicinity of about 50 to 60,000 Indians.
That's a big number.
Well, with an 80 million population, it's not much.
Well, compared to the Filipino population, but for an expat community, that's pretty big.
Well, we're the number 3 ethnic community in the Philippines.
So, for 50,000 Indians in these businesses, how have you integrated and become a part of this Filipino community? You made this your home.
Yes.
How has it become your home? What are you doing to make it much more livable?
Well, we do our own social or community projects for the areas where we live in. Okay.
That's just in your neighborhoods or communities, or you go
practically all over the Philippines, because when you say like community projects, like I would specifically say we have the I-camps.
I-camp?
I-camp, wherein we do it in many cities or municipalities, mostly in Luzon.
Is this known by the general public? Do you announce it? Do you publish the fact that you are running an I-camp? Do you do that?
We don't really publish or make big noise about it. Usually the mayor or a governor or maybe a congressman might request us to do an I-camp, and we do it depending on our budgets, because everything is for free. We provide the doctors, we provide the ophthalmic frames, we provide the refraction, we provide the lenses.
So the Indian community, these business people, do the funding for your community project?
Yes, it's 100% on donation.
Private finance. How do the mayors and these heads of communities find out about you, and how do they get in touch with you?
It's usually by word of mouth.
Oh, all right. Okay.
We don't have an unlimited budget. So if we start advertising and all that, I think we'd run out of money. So usually the mayors or the municipalities, I would say more around the Metro Manila area, would be more aware of this. And then they come to us, and depending on our budgets and the time, we do whatever we can to help.
You said you'll run out of money. Does that mean that the need for caring for the eye in this country or amongst the communities that you support, the need is huge? It's a big market there's a big demand for that, your service of providing health care for the eye?
Yes, there's a very large demand, because practically every time we have an I-camp, we have to limit the number of people that we can service. Sometimes we make an I-camp only for 500 people or for 1,000 people or for 200 people.
How often do you do this? How often does it?
Well, I've been the president of the chamber since March 1. From March 1 till today, we have done maybe, well, until let's say July 31, we have done maybe 6 or 7 I-camps.
So 6 or 7 times 500, that's like about 3,000 to 4,000 people.
Well, the numbers would be between 200 to 1,000. So maybe you could use that as a
200 to 1,000. So still 3,000 or 4,000 average.
Yes.
So how many years has the Indian community been doing this?
They've been doing it for over a decade now. You know, it's been going on prior to even the Indian Chamber of Commerce getting involved.
How about names like Leticia Shani? Is she part of your community or she's more Filipino?
Oh,
Or the other names from Cebu? There was a mayor in Cebu, Dolumal.
Well, for Lita Ramos Shahani, she's a dear friend or a member of the Indian community.
Right.
She's been very helpful. Her late husband was Indian, and even her two sons today are, I would say, close to the Indian community.
What about, I heard that India provides artificial limbs to PGH. Are you the group who does this?
We are not the group that does this. Is the Indian Ladies Club and Bharti's Ladies Club. This is called it's through the Mahavir Foundation.
Mahavir Foundation?
Yeah, it's called the Jaipur Foot.
Jaipur Foot?
Yeah.
What is that?
They provide the artificial limbs for people who need them.
Is it any different from the regular artificial limbs that are being provided? Is there something special about the Jaipur Foot?
I think the quality is pretty good and it's pretty reasonably priced.
Good. Are you second generation Indian or your third generation?
No, I'm second generation. My father was here prior to World War II.
World War II?
Yes.
And he flew in from India or from Pakistan?
Well, at that time I think planes were not very...
Ship.
Yeah, there were not much planes, so he must have been shipped here when he was in his teens.
What did he do in India prior to coming here?
He was just studying, because I think he came here when he was 16. And then
16
at the age of 18 he volunteered for the Indian Army.
16?
18.
18, but he came here when he was 16.
He came here when he was 16. Yeah.
And then he went back home and volunteered for
this Subhash Chandra Bose,
the Indian national hero, the one who fought for liberty.
He came to the Philippines and was recruiting volunteers.
Oh, Subhash Chandra Bose came to the Philippines?
Yes.
Oh, and he recruited your dad here?
Yes.
To fight for Indian freedom
Yes.
out of the Philippines while India was occupied by the English in India?
Yes.
How did that happen?
Well, I don't know too much about it, but my father mentioned to me that, in fact, I have to qualify whether he came here or his representative came here.
Okay, yeah.
But then, my father's very nationalistic. So he said I volunteered and I fought in the front, and I was a POW, prisoner of war, and he was also a decorated hero.
I think he's a patriot, not a nationalistic, because he left the country. So patriot, yes.
Well, okay.
No, you're right about Subhash Chandra Bose. I actually was talking to some Burmese people, and Subhash Chandra Bose traveled out of India to Burma, to Rangoon, and he probably moved around Asia seeking external support from expat Indians for the freedom of India. I'm assuming this, I don't know this for a fact, so maybe you can check with your dad. Another thing I want to ask you is, which is a question that I'm often asked, is these money lenders on the streets, are they a boon to this country? If they're a boon, how exactly are they a boon?
You see, the money lenders on the street, you say that it's a necessity, okay? I mean, I've heard a story from today, one of the biggest sports store owners, that he said that if not for these money lenders, he could have never started his business. Because he mentioned that, the first badminton rackets that he bought it through these money lenders.
Okay, that's one good story.
Yeah.
But given the big picture, what exactly they do for the country?
Well, people who need capital. For example, somebody who's working for someone and wants to start a business and needs 10,000 pesos. I mean, if he's going to go to a bank, they're going to ask him for so much paperwork, he wouldn't even know how to create a business plan. So, excuse me, so these money lenders come to him and they tell him, he tells them that I need 10,000. And, they figure he's good for it, they give him 10,000. and then they come into an arrangement on how he's going to be paying back, and then they just come and give him the money and collect accordingly.
A couple of years ago, there was a gentleman, I think a gentleman by the name of Muhammad Yunus, a Bangladeshi, who won the Ramon Magsaysay Award for something called the Grameen Bank. Grameen Bank in Bangladesh does the same thing, helps the poorest of the poor. They give them 1,000 peso, 2,000 peso, 2,000 rupee loan, and they also give this to women. You think that's what could be employed by the small finances here? You think that's something that the community could consider, or maybe the Department of Finance could recommend?
Well, in the Indian community, a lot of these private lenders have already legitimized their operations.
And what I'd like to know now, if as an Indian in the Philippines, you had one wish for the Filipino country and the community, what would that wish be as an Indian who makes Philippines its home?
Well, I'll give you maybe 4 wishes. Okay, one is non-violence.
You would provide that to the Filipino.
Yeah, I would say when we do things, let's do it non-violent,
peaceful way.
Peaceful way.
How so?
How so is that no guns, no violence. Okay.
Wasn't People's Power 1 and People's Power 2 and People's Power 3, wasn't that by itself non-violent enough?
Exactly. So we continue.
Oh, you like that process?
Yeah, with that course. And aside from that is that, support the local product, support Filipino.
By Filipino.
By Filipino.
So Pinoy ka,
Yeah.
by Filipino too. And the products that the Indian community does are mostly Filipino, or they are also imports?
Well, we do a lot of local manufacturing. The thing is that, like I was saying earlier, was that going back because of the industry and the trade, too many things come in.
That was in
imported.
India. That was in India.
Yeah.
Sorry?
No, I'm saying is that we should support our local product. If the Philippines manufactures it, then we should support the local product.
Rather than buying Chinese or Indian or from Europe.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Okay, buy Filipino. That's what you're saying. All right, Ramesh. So as a Filipino Indian, what kind of advice would you give to Indians who live and make Philippines their home, or the other Indians who are making Philippines their home? What would you ask them to do? How would you ask them to settle down and say, hey, be at peace with this community?
Well, when you come here, you just be a little patient. Okay.
This is for the Indians who
are coming in,
who migrate to the Philippines.
Just be a little patient, and if you explain yourself well to us Filipinos, you'll be able to get your way around, and we're very friendly.
Right.
I think that's about it.
That's about it. Just be patient and just be nice.
Yeah.
No?